WWE Hall of Famer Tito Santana, and you are listening to WNS Podcast. Arriba!
You're listening to the official Wrestling News Source Podcast. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com or check us out on Facebook by searching WrestlingNewsSource.com or WNS Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Stitcher, and iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast or WNS Podcast. Now being broadcast in over 45 different countries, here are your hosts, Daniel Herron, Tyler Abear, and Doug.
That's right. What's up, everyone? I am Daniel Herron.
I'm Tyler Abear. I'm Doug.
And we welcome you to episode 202 of the official podcast for WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all of your information, go to WrestlingNewsSource.com. Check us out on Facebook, WrestlingNewsSource.com. You can find us on Facebook, WNS Podcast, on YouTube, WNS Video, and on iTunes, Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're also on Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm. Just search Wrestling News Source Podcast to find us.
Follow the podcast on Twitter at WNS Podcast. Follow Daniel at WNS_Daniel, Tyler.
There you go. Welcome to the show. Got quite a bit to talk about. Got a little bit of feedback. Got some Survivor Series talk, Raw, hot topics, Q&A, all the good stuff. How are you doing, guys?
Good.
Yeah? Hanging in there?
Yeah, we had a good weekend.
Had a very good weekend. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah.
We haven't had that in a while.
Yeah. I know you and I went and saw the Molly Ringwalds, an 80s cover rock band who tore the house down, did a really good performance, had a lot of fun.
Very talented guys.
Yeah. And then it was Saturday, we all got together, had a game night. Plenty of video games played. I went back and watched tried to watch the stream on Twitch, and I guess there was some kind of issue or something, but it wouldn't let me watch it, so I couldn't get to the glitch that we had with Adrian Neville, which is kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
But you know, maybe somehow, some way, I can get a way to get that glitch on the YouTube channel or something.
You should have also saved it when you share it too, so you have two things.
I should have, but you know, what can you do? So, but other than that, I had a lot of fun. Got together for Survivor Series as well. So
I think you're forgetting something.
No,
something big and important.
No, I think we covered all the important stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the No.
Oh, did you have something in mind, or
what happened Thursday?
Well, I worked and proposed to my girlfriend, and dinner. We went to dinner. Had a good time there. It was good. Celebrating good times. And my girlfriend, now fiance.
Fiance?
Yeah.
Woo!
Thank you. Good stuff. Appreciate that. It's good
Congrats.
stuff. Thank you.
Congrats.
Appreciate that. So look forward to a lifetime of happiness, hopefully, if I'm lucky. So yeah, good stuff. Doug, how you doing? Hanging in there?
Not too great. I'm feeling pretty bummed.
Oh, what's going on?
I don't know, man. I've been up all night, watching that Ferguson shit, and just it's really riding on me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to watch. I'm trying just to keep away from all the politics and everything behind it, and it's just it's really tough to see what's going on there, the way that it's being handled, and not the most professional. But you know, what can you do? But you know, at least we have the holidays coming up. We got Thanksgiving coming up this week, so it should be a good week. And like I said, we did get to watch Survivor Series, but we do have a little bit of feedback. I tried to pull up YouTube, and for some reason it was not working for me. So we only got one little bit of feedback, and that's from Matt saying, "Solid episode,
I can try
guys."
to find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, try and find it, because I don't want to ignore those who took the time to comment on our show. It's just giving me a lot of issues.
Yeah, that's a problem that we've been having pretty off and on lately.
Mm-hmm.
So if you write to us on YouTube and we don't respond to you, there's a good chance when we go back and look at it that we don't see it, because I know that I will check it sometimes, and I will see comments that I will go back later and not see. So,
right.
And we don't really know why that's the case.
Yeah. Well, just YouTube as a whole, the whole website was not responding whenever I typed in youtube.com and went to the site, and it was like, "Oh, sorry, this website is unresponsive." So I'm like, "Well, crap." So, Tyler will try and look that up. But we do have some from our Facebook page from Matt saying, "Solid episode, guys." So thank you very much. We certainly appreciate you taking the time to listen and letting us know what you think. So, do you want me to stall a little bit, Tyler?
No,
Or
we have a few.
all right.
First one is from Steve Whitman. Well, it's spelled Whiteman. When is the WWE Network in Canada going to be offered somewhere else than Rogers? I don't know what Rogers means. I think it should be offered at WWE.com at least, since not all cable companies are going to offer it. I know Shaw is the only cable company in my area, and they still haven't got the network.
I haven't seen anything further about it in Canada.
Yeah.
Is
other
it not
than like the initial?
Is it not available on WWE.com?
Well,
or is it like an actual network?
It's a weird it's like a weird package thing in the Canada where half of it's on like available. Part of it is part of a cable subscription thing, and then half of it's like some on-demand stuff on the online. It's like a weird internet cable combo.
That's very weird.
Very weird.
I don't like that.
I don't either. I can understand why they wouldn't either.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have any news to report about that. But
I don't think I've heard anything about it other than the initial. This is how it is, and
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like that at all.
I guess they'll eventually figure it out.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Do you do only questions, or you do like people who just?
I mean, we can just dive on into everything. Why not?
Everything. Okay.
Sure.
Jaggy Babs says them adding the fired stipulation kind of kills the match for me and makes it too predictable. I know exactly how it's going to go. It'll be Cena versus 2 or 3 guys left, and then Randy Orton will come out and help them win, or maybe Vince will add him to the match. It's getting too predictable for me.
Not too predictable this time, but yeah, I do see where you're coming from.
Well, the full stipulation wasn't added until after we recorded.
Yeah.
And it didn't really go down exactly like that anyway.
Yeah, so, luckily for us. But, all right, thanks, Jaggy Babs.
Richard Atkins.
All right, Richard.
I think WWE should push Eric Rowan and continue Luke Harper's push. A feud between former Wyatt family members could be epic. Keep up the good work on the podcast. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're going to be pushing both of these guys in their singles routes. They're going different directions, but maybe their paths will cross a little bit later down the road. So
maybe they'll get
something to look forward to. Yeah,
while they want to fight each other or something.
Yeah.
WWE and TNA talk says 2 different things. I picked Team Page.
That's a username, by the way, not a
right.
Yeah. I picked Team Page, Team Cena, Stardust, and Goldust, Ambrose, AJ Lee, and those are my picks for Survivor Series.
Interesting.
And he also says your Facebook link does not work, by the way.
Okay, we'll look into that. But yeah, just search WNS Podcast on Facebook, and you should see us there. If you ever have any more issues.
I have a question.
By
Dawes on
Dawson.
I'm sorry, man.
That's cool.
Dawson 101.
Dawson 101.
Dawes on 101.
Yes.
Sorry, man. Hey guys, what are your thoughts on the rumor of Rock and Vince the Authority versus the sorry, I can't speak. Vince versus the Authority at WrestleMania 31. That would just Cena versus Rock. Do you agree? That would beat Cena versus Rock? I don't know. I don't understand that part.
I hadn't heard that, and I don't like the sound of that one bit.
Yeah, I agree with Doug.
And just one more thing. Jaron Sperman, good podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Certainly appreciate it. Thanks, Tyler, for getting those comments for us.
No problem.
Good stuff. So, yeah. So, like I said, it had Survivor Series this past Sunday. We all got together and watched that. Had a good time. Had some pizza. Had lots of links over the weekend as well.
Oh, man.
Links on links.
Links on links. Too much links. But
no.
This guy will never get burned out on links.
I'm not. I've had probably, I don't even know how many. It's
more than 30.
No, it hadn't been that many.
Okay.
But it has been a lot.
Well, I'm glad that it didn't go to waste.
Yes. I'm making sure of that. So, but we got together and watched Survivor Series. We had a pre-show, hour-long pre-show, 2 matches involved. And the first one, we saw the return of Fandango. But he dropped his music. He dropped the theme that got him over with the crowd, and is now paired up with Rosa Mendez to go up against Justin Gabriel. And he seems to be more of the salsa dancer now, as opposed to the classical whatever it was that he was before that. But he took on Justin Gabriel.
Until they're going to drop that.
Yeah, it's a matter of time. So he took on Justin Gabriel, got the win. Anything really from the match that you saw, Tyler?
Nope.
No? Okay. So the second matchup, we got to see Cesaro going up against Jack Swagger, the same Jack Swagger who was injured to the point that he could not be on Team Cena, who also competed in main event earlier that week, and maybe SmackDown. I didn't get to catch SmackDown.
Hey, man. You're not supposed to remember that.
Yeah, my memory. What am I doing? So, but Swagger ends up defeating Cesaro, much to
as expected.
I guess.
Anyone going against Cesaro is going to beat Cesaro.
Which is sad.
It's very sad.
It shouldn't be happening. So, anyways, we kicked Survivor Series off with the Authority coming out, much like they do on Raw, cutting a promo, talking about what's going on. In case you didn't know, Mr. McMahon comes out as well. And that brings out John Cena. And they announced that the stipulation is that if Authority loses, then they're completely out of power. The only one who can bring them back into power is John Cena, which is very interesting.
Well, Triple H and Stephanie were like mocking Vince. Beginning the promo. Is that how you took it? Or he was just, they're like, Vince.
Oh, yeah, they were sucking up to him, basically.
They weren't mocking, they were kissing his ass.
Yeah, getting that little bit of brown on their nose. So, anyway.
I will still make your life a living hell.
Yeah.
Even if I lose. Isn't that right, Daddy?
Daddy. So, I don't know how I feel about this whole stipulation of Cena's the only one who can bring you back, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. But, anyways, it was...
At least they left the loophole open.
Yeah.
It would be better than them deciding to bring them back later or just...
Oh, hey, guess what? We're back.
That stipulation doesn't count anymore. We're just bringing them back. I would rather them leave the loophole if they decide to do it than at least...
Well, what has to be so bad that Cena would bring them back?
The new anonymous Raw manager.
Yeah.
Most likely. Oh, no.
They're gonna make the product so bad, and fans are gonna be just hating on it so much that the only thing that can fix it is to bring back the Authority and restore order.
I mean, I think it's entirely possible that either the anonymous general manager gets revealed as someone who is going to make things worse than the Authority or as bad, and like Cena will go, okay, well, the only way to get this guy out would be... I think it's entirely possible. I don't think it's out of the question at all.
Yeah.
Well, the anonymous Raw GM is a tweener.
It's Hornswoggle. We all know this. So, anyways, we get to go to the first matchup. Miz and Mizdow going up against the Usos, Los Matadores, and Gold and Stardust for the Tag Team Championship in a fatal four-way. Really surprised they didn't say we're going to make this an elimination tag match. I figured that would have at least made it a little more, special, and it would have had a reason for teams tagging other teams in. But I don't know. What did you guys think about the matchup?
I really don't remember too much. The only thing I remember is, and what stood out was the stuff between Mizdow and Miz.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
I really wasn't crazy about it. I think they did do a good job of building to the important stuff, and what the crowd wanted to see was they teased the Sandow tag in early, denied you.
Mm-hmm.
They tagged him in only to get immediately tagged out. And they built to the spot where he blind tagged himself in, which really sort of, the crowd was already lively and way behind Mizdow, and they sort of erupted whenever he tagged himself in and got the win.
Yeah.
The match was fine. Nothing
spectacular.
Yeah, nothing spectacular. Nothing to really complain about. I think they jumped the shark with Mizdow. I'm not a big fan of Stardust, and there was a whole bunch of Stardust and Mizdow in this match, so this just really wasn't designed to appeal to me. But I think they did a nice job, of building to what they were trying to build to. They got
Yeah.
that across well.
I don't know how I feel about Stardust using the red face paint now. That just looks weird.
Well, it's just he has red where he had blue before.
Yeah.
He's just trying to look goofy or just trying different things.
He's trying to look like a clown or someone who's bleeding. So, anyways, Miz and Mizdow end up winning, becoming the new tag team champions. That takes us into the next matchup, the Divas Survivor Series matchup. Natalya, Emma, Alicia Fox, Naomi going up against Paige, Cameron, Summer Rae, baby, and Layla. So, what do you guys think about this matchup? Because it ended up being a clean sweep. The heel Divas getting completely swept out. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we've seen in the past that Survivor Series matches, I think, where it's been like, I guess what, like one team has been decimated and like this other team is standing. So
Yeah.
I don't like it that way, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I saw an article that said I understand why Paige didn't get a win, like a pin on anyone, because they wanted to build the special moment, that special moment for Ziggler later on in the night, which they did. But still, like, if you're trying to build up your Divas
I really
division,
thought she was going to eliminate some, chicks.
yeah, like at least Emma or Alicia Fox, just someone to be able to stand her ground and say, hey, I'm a threat, but it ended up being a clean sweep. What did you think, Doug?
I really didn't have much of a problem with it because I didn't feel like any work that they had put in went out the window with it. So it's not like they negated any like hard work that they had put into anyone.
Yeah.
I always feel
this was so established.
I always feel sort of weird about the babyface team getting the clean sweep just because I feel like, in order to cheer a babyface on, a lot of times you need to build sympathy, and you can't, there's no sympathy to be had for a team that has a 5-on-1 advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that sort of difficult sometimes, but ultimately I didn't have a problem with it mostly because it was meaningless.
Right.
But, I think the girls worked hard and they did their best. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think it's important to at least say that much because I know it's real easy for a lot of people to just say, oh, it was a Divas match, and they do like the air jack off motion. Like, it's like, who cares, whatever. But I felt like they did their best. They worked hard. These girls aren't the best wrestlers in the world, but I felt like they gave a good effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I thought maybe Paige was due to Ziggler thing, maybe she'll fight and take out some, but it wasn't enough.
It was not enough, but the Divas, the good Divas, get the clean sweep over the bad
There's a
Divas.
lot of ants in that windowsill, by the way.
Huh?
Dead ants in that windowsill.
Dead ants. That's
Sorry.
not good. Oh, well. So next up, we got to see Bray Wyatt going up against Dean Ambrose. This match ends up in a disqualification, which I think, if we thought was going to happen. Unfortunately, it went the other way of what I thought was going to happen.
You're not like the others. Oh, wait. What did he say? You're not like the others, or you're not like them. Join my side, Dean.
Yeah. I thought this match was pretty good. JBL, I think, had one of the best sound bites for it, saying, they're not trying to counter each other, they're just trying to slug each other out and see who's still standing.
I remember enjoying it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it was an enjoyable matchup. They had good chemistry, I felt.
leaves it open.
I felt the ending was kind of weird with Bray Wyatt grabbing the microphone. Like, that was just kind of odd. And then the disqualification later on. But I don't know. What do you think, Doug?
I thought it was a good match that went a little too far with the ending they gave it. The match was good. It was a good brawl between these guys. I don't expect decisive finishes in matches like these with this card placement. So I don't mind they did a sort of bullshit finish. It even sort of made sense to both of their characters. And this is actually how I would prefer to see Ambrose booked instead of, how we've actually been seeing him booked up.
Instead of the wacky zany.
Yeah, I mean, how I want to see Ambrose booked is if the bad guy's going to give him a chair, then he's going to use the chair. And I thought that makes sense with Ambrose's character. I thought it would make sense that he would, not care about it getting disqualified, that he'd rather give him the beating than get the win. Where I think they went, and all that's believable to me, and I accept it, and I think it's good and fine. Where they sort of went too far with me is it became too much of a blatant shill for the TLC match.
Yeah.
Which I don't even mind him using the chairs and even bringing the table in and just burying him under all the
Right.
furniture. I don't even mind if he actually got the ladder and used all three to bury him, but it was just the way he, like, there was no point to get the ladder out and climb the
I'm just
ladder.
going to climb it.
Yeah, other than to say, hey guys, we're definitely going to have a TLC match next month. And
You can't just have a TC match.
even if they just used it, you can still have that stipulation. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It was just too much of a shill. It was too nice and neat. Like, I don't. Maybe some people need to have their hands held that way, but I don't need to have my hand held that way, like, to understand where we're going with this. So
Right.
I thought it was good work that sort of crossed the line into too much of a shill in the end.
Okay. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Like, the way they did the table and the chairs was really well done. But
Even if he pulled the ladder out too and just also threw that on
Yeah.
top of the pile, it's the
I'm just gonna grab whatever's underneath the ring.
right,
But I'm gonna set this up and climb it and be like, look at me now.
right.
But what can you do? But Bray Wyatt ends up getting the victory thanks to the disqualification, and then Dean decided to bury Bray under the table and chairs. So after that, we got a backstage segment with Triple H trying to rally Team Authority, telling them, act like your life is on the line. Fight until your last breath. Fight, 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 and that leads a fight chant backstage. So
he says, like, what did he say? If we lose or something, if someone takes over, you will lose your titles.
yeah.
If
you don't have a title, you're not ever going to get a chance to get one. So, it made sense, and it was a good rally, I guess. But, whatever. After that, we got to see Adam Rose teaming up with the Bunny to go up against Slater Gator. And the Bunny ends up getting the victory on this one. Kind of sad. And I saw one comment that made me chuckle. It was like Titus O'Neil goes in, does all the work, and then he tags Heath Slater, who picks up the loss. He goes in and gets pinned. So, more of that.
I really thought
chemistry
Slater
between the
Gator
two.
was going to win just
Yeah.
because Adam Rose and Bunny have been having a fallout.
Yeah, and now they're trying to build up the Bunny as someone who
They
can.
can't keep that going
No.
after all this stuff. It's like they're going to have to reveal who it is. And I don't know.
Or just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Just get rid of the Bunny. I don't know. What do you think, Doug?
I think it's smart to turn Rose heel. I don't know if the Bunny is the best way to go about it. Maybe it's the only way. Who knows? I mean, surely someone could think of another reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to be pretty pissed off. And I don't think they're actually going to do this way just because he's the guy playing it. But if for any reason Sami Zayn is debuted as the Bunny, I'm going to be fucking pissed.
Yeah. It'd be pretty bad. So,
That's like DOA.
yeah. Hey, remember that time when Sami Zayn, who was #1 contender for the title, but before that he was a bunny?
Yeah.
Not believable. No. So, yeah. So after that, we got to see an exclusive interview with Roman Reigns, and asking how he's doing. And I like how I find it funny that they've done this interview with Roman Reigns, but they haven't done it with Barrett. They haven't done it with Bryan. They haven't, anyone else who's been injured. They haven't had these interviews with.
Yeah.
It's only Roman Reigns, because I know they're trying to build up Roman Reigns and keep him relevant. But I mean, my God,
I just don't want people to forget him.
Yeah. And so they asked,
Speaking of Barrett,
Yeah, I was about to
we
say, yeah,
mentioned
fresh
Barrett
stuff.
earlier.
he was on the pre-show. No, we didn't mention him, but he came out and the crowd was definitely hot for him, saying that he was afraid that he had some bad news. So
For Team Cena,
For-
then Team Authority.
yes, so yeah, be on the lookout for him to return. Roman Reigns talking about how he's set to return next month, and he's going to be cocking his fist, and
It's going to be a
he's
festing.
going to be doing a lot of fisting all up in this bitch. and believe that.
He has inherited like the spot of the guy who gets to say bitch.
Yes, he has that coveted spot.
Bitch.
Yeah. So hey, you don't get to say that.
I know. I'm not Roman Reigns.
So next up, we got to see the Divas Championship match, and if you sneezed, you missed it. Nikki Bella versus AJ. Before as the match gets underway, Brie hops up on the apron, holding the title, bringing AJ in for a smooch.
It's like you go through all that shit. Okay, I didn't get to see Raw, but like you go through all that because I don't know what happens. But I don't. You go through all that shit between Brie and Nikki, and it looks like Brie just turned heel.
Yep.
Does it make sense?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, sorry, I get it now. Okay.
Yes. Because logic and things. That is the reason.
Good point.
Because they are sisters, and she has the title now.
And she likes kissing women.
And she likes kissing AJ. So,
fair enough.
Match lasted 34 seconds. Nikki Bella, your new Divas champion. Doug, any thoughts on it?
Not really.
Okay. So, that takes us into the main event, which it was at the top of the hour when they started this, which I did not think was going to go the full length, which I was surprised that it did. Team Cena versus Team Authority. Right off the bat, Mark Henry getting eliminated.
Well, how you feel about that, Doug? Your boy Mark Henry got eliminated like that.
It sucks to see because I know that he is better used than that, but it's hard to get super bummed out because it's not a surprise to me because they only make him important when they need him to feel important.
Yep.
Well, there's a few things that felt like off. I mean, that was weird a little bit, but then Ryback was the first on the face team to get eliminated, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Why?
He's the first no, he wasn't. He was the second, but he was the first.
Why? I don't understand that. You would think Eric Rowan would be.
Mm-hmm.
Why, if you're trying to build him up this little bit, then you give that happens? So
because WWE logic.
Oh, that again. Okay. Yes.
The same reason why Brie is heel now, just because it calls for it. So the guy that they're trying to build up as a future main eventer gets eliminated first on his team. One of the more established heavyweight champions gets eliminated right off the bat. I mean, I don't get it. But, at least they kept Rusev's
I did like that, though.
Yeah.
I did like that.
It made sense the way he was eliminated. I figured it would either come down to a count out or disqualification. Sure enough, it came out.
Fucking walk out. He don't give a shit. He's above all this shit.
Yeah. Seeing Cena get knocked out was kind of a shock. But seeing Big Show turn, I think
again wasn't a shock.
I think because he has done it so frequently in his career, like he does it, almost on cue. It loses its shock value when he does it.
Sense it coming?
I didn't sense it coming. I saw him in the ring and he was kind of like standing there, kind of like
oh, no,
looking at Cena and all that. And he's like, "Okay, come on, man, get up," And then he just, taps him or whatever. But
well, I think the story was that he looked at the chips where they fell and looked like he didn't think his team was going to win. So he made a split-second decision to turn and
try and protect himself.
Right.
So
because that's why. Because a lot of people were like, "Well, why? If he was going to turn, why did he punch Henry in the first place? Why didn't he just because
he thought he was going to win at that point.
The story was the story they intended was that when he turned, he looked at Cena and he looked at Dolph, and they were the only people left on his team, and they were decimated. They were laid on the ground still, and he saw 3 freshmen across the ring. He's like, "We're not going to win. I'm going to lose my job," and that's when he decided,
I need to do something to protect my investment, which is me.
Right.
And hopefully Triple H will cut me a deal.
Right.
So, I get it. I totally understand the reasoning behind it. I'm glad that, he did the explanation on Raw for those who didn't catch it, because it perfectly explained his actions. He didn't go in there with the intent to turn. He saw the situation, made an assessment, decided, I need to, do something to watch myself. It's just, I don't know. But, yeah, like I said, watching Cena get knocked out was quite a shock. I'm really glad that they gave Dolph Ziggler the moment, to be the fighter, be the one to, scratch and claw his way to victory. But the moment was short-lived because we got the debut of Sting stepping foot in the WWE ring for the very first time ever in his career. There were a lot of reports that came out saying it was going to happen. A lot of rumors did happen. Crowd went nuts for it. It's exciting to see, but I feel like they did it wrong in a couple of ways. When Triple H took out the refs, called for Scott Armstrong goes into the ring, counts 1, 2, then the music hits, and he stops. I feel like whenever Triple H was signaling for a referee, that's when they should have brought Sting in. Because why would a ref stop counting just because someone's music hits? Unless obviously he was distracted. But the crowd went nuts for it. Another thing that I didn't like about it was that Ziggler and Rollins had to just lay there for a long
They were knocked
time.
out.
Oh yeah, that's totally what it was. But I don't know. What did you guys think?
Well, I think Ryback being eliminated without anything is pretty stupid. I feel like the way to go, I feel like you can tell the same story if Ryback starts the match and he's the one who eliminates Henry. At least then he has an elimination before he goes out.
Yeah.
And he's not just the first guy. I mean, he's still the first guy to leave, but he looks stronger in comparison.
But one thing that does say is that they are really selling, the curb stomp, as a devastating move.
Well, he did get hit by 2 finishers. Mm-hmm. Is that enough protection? I don't know.
Nah.
I don't think. I like the match. I'm a guy who likes to give Dolph Ziggler a lot of shit, but I felt like he was pretty incredible here. I felt like it was like a breakout, star-making performance.
Mm-hmm.
But ultimately, it feels like now that it was just because he was best suited for that role. Like he is, if you're going to have a guy selling and bumping, he's the guy best suited for that role.
Yeah.
That's why they gave it to him. I don't think that they're going to capitalize off of it. It looks like they're already not trying to capitalize off of it. So that's a little bit discouraging, I'm sure, for Ziggler fans. I think it's discouraging just in general. If you see something like that, then you should be smart enough to capitalize on it, I think.
Yep.
But it doesn't look like they're going to, or even try. Because I thought it was a cool wrinkle that Cena was eliminated and Dolph was the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't so much have... Yeah, it was an overbooked finish, and yeah, a lot of guys were selling for long periods of time, but Ziggler had been fucking hit with everything from everyone. So
He looked dead when he was out on the ground.
So I feel like he's fine to sell for however long they need him to. The Sting stuff, it was a cool moment. It was cool to see. It was a bit overbooked. I sort of feel like I was sort of one of the guys who felt like maybe a younger generation or a younger WWE fan base, a generation would be people
Will be lost.
It would be lost upon them, and I feel like it was my stance was proven wrong. I felt like he got a good reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he got the best reaction I've ever seen, but I guess I was wrong, and unless that they've done enough on the network, and I don't know that I can say that confidently to get him over to. But I guess people like me who took the stance that he would be lost on a younger WWE crowd, or people you would have to educate them who he was sort of proven wrong, at least in part. So I do want to stand here and say if I feel like I was wrong. Maybe it's sort of hard to tell, but he got a good reaction. So
I feel like they should have tried to keep that rumor under wraps.
see, that's the thing. I agree. Like if that didn't leak, then that's a even hotter moment. Right
Yeah, because they've been able to pull stuff off before.
Right.
You know, with the return of Rock for hosting WrestleMania, with the return of Chris Jericho, for a lot of things, they have the ability to keep those rumors out.
Well, see, I feel like what they were doing is this is the end of the free month. This is the pay-per-view for the free month. This is them saying, "Hey guys, something cool is going to happen on the show, and cool things are going to happen on the network. You need the network." I think that was them saying, "Hey, you need to be paying attention to the network. You need to go subscribe." And to make sure people knew something was going to happen, they probably leaked it on purpose. But I don't know. I don't know that it's sort of weird because he's going to go. They're not immediately going to play off of it. It doesn't feel like, at least.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like that's the icing on a cake of. I feel like the Sting appearance should, if the plan is we're selling everybody on the network and this is our show that we've picked that we're going to sell everybody on because we gave it away for free, I think like Sting's the icing on the cake and you got to deliver a knockout show. And I feel like it was. Now I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had a good time watching it. I had perfectly fun time, but it wasn't a knockout show by any stretch. It would not be something.
Oh, you've got to watch this.
It would not be something that if I wasn't already a fan and already someone who wants to watch this anyway, it would not be something to convince me, I don't think. I mean, I feel like as fun of a time as I had, I think if we're being honest, it's a 2-match card.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I get the train of thought that you don't want to blow your wad on the free show that you're giving away for everybody. You want to give them a taste and be like, oh, you want that, you got to come back.
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't know. I feel like the better game plan is to load up this card and this thing is the icing on the cake. And they're like, you want this shit, then you have to have the network if you want to see this. Yeah.
And the way that I felt whenever Sting made his appearance, I wasn't like, oh my God, this is an amazing moment, which a lot of people did.
Sure.
You know, there were a lot of people freaking out about this. I for one did not have this feeling.
Me either.
As soon as I heard the music, I was like, oh, it's Sting.
Right.
That's cool. Why is Scott Armstrong not still counting? And then, Sting definitely took his time getting to the ring.
Sure.
Got inside. They had the stare down. Then
Stare down felt weird.
The stare down felt incredibly weird. They're staring at each other. Then they switch positions. Then they go back. And then Triple H attacks.
Something was wrong with Sting. He looked weird when he was walking.
He felt like he was like maybe injured or something like that with the way he was walking.
Well, he's old as fuck, guys. So.
I know he's 55, but obviously he can still wrestle if needed. But I honestly sat there in my head going, is he going to do something? What is he going to do? Do something. Come on.
I think they were trying to sell like
the moment,
the befuddlement of Triple H. Like, why is this guy here? Why would he be here?
Yeah. And I get that, but I felt like it was too stretched out. And then for no reason, Triple H tries to attack, and that leads to the Scorpion Death Drop, which, the crowd goes nuts for. He covers, Rollins with Ziggler and proceeds to leave. But, my boss came into my office today to talk about what had happened because I guess he watched it or heard about it. He said, I've been hearing, Vince and Triple H make mention the last few weeks of how WWE, beat out WCW. And it was like, do you think that might be one of the reasonings why, Sting has arrived?
No.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just, it felt odd to me. I know a lot of fans were digging it. It was cool to see him, but his age was showing.
His age showed when he was in TNA too. So.
Well, yeah, but it's just I looked at him and I was just like, man, I don't know.
I mean, I feel that that's a fair criticism on your part. I do feel that the intent was to let the crowd soak in the moment, and B, sell the befuddlement of Triple H, which I think was the intent of the long pause. But But I do think it's a fair criticism to be like, okay, you're already overbooked your finish, and this is going a little too long with you guys just sort of standing around with their dicks in their hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I feel that's totally fair. I do think it was still like a cool moment. Again, just like you, I was like, okay, cool, Sting. But for me to mark out, like, so I saw other people marking out, I would have had to not known it was coming.
Yeah. I think that was another one of the things that killed it for me is
Sure.
that I was expecting it, you know. So
I mean, I marvel at people's ability to know that it's coming and still mark out. I mean, I can do that for a match. If a match is fantastic and I expect it to be good and it's still fantastic, I can lose my shit in that.
yeah.
But to mark out for like a moment, like a guy coming, like it lessens it for me to know that he's going to be there.
I mean, like once they announced the stipulation of if Team Cena loses, they're all fired. You know, it's kind of one of those. Okay, we know who's going to win. It was still an enjoyable match.
I felt like they did a good job of playing with your expectations of what was going to happen in the match. I felt like the Ziggler did an incredible job of making people live and die on the falls. Like,
Yeah.
that was good.
They bit.
I feel like throwing the wrench of Cena being eliminated, throwing the wrench of Big Show turning, I think they did a good job. Now, ultimately, I think ultimately the turn provides like booking complications, but as a wrinkle in the story of like, we know the expectations of the crowd and we know that what they have. They did a good job of being like, oh yeah, are you sure you know what's going to happen? I felt like
They caused a lot of doubt.
It was a fun match. I mean, I think there are nitpicks to be had. I think there are legitimate criticisms to be had, but ultimately I thought it was a good match.
Yeah, it wasn't bad by any stretch. But
probably, I gotta say, man, I give Dolph Ziggler a hard time a lot of the time, but I feel like, at least from my perspective, and at least in my opinion, I felt like this is like the performance of his career.
Yeah, he stepped up, and for this one, every time that he kicked out of a pin, you could see like he was like pounding the mat in pain, selling the pain that he was in. One thing I did really like that had nothing to do with the match was Eric Rowan's entrance music. I really enjoyed that. It was a nice take on what he was going with. They're sort of like doing like this man child, like he's this huge guy, but he's got an innocent mind,
right?
Until you piss him off, and like the banjo is really cool because it obviously plays into his character, but adding like the little, I guess I don't know, sort of like the xylophone, but I can't remember what it is. Like those little toy things that you can wind up and they ding, 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 ding. Anyways.
Like Jack in the Box?
Sort of, kind of. But whatever it is, whatever instrument it is, that plays into the innocence part of the aspect.
And they had to just throw that together because as earlier in the week as Raw, he was using the same music as Harper stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, but
they had to have got that done in like less than a week.
Oh yeah. And I definitely enjoyed it. I can't wait for like the full version to come out so I can listen to it. But bravo to those guys for doing that. But all in all, Team Cena getting the victory thanks to Dolph Ziggler.
Do you think this show sold any subscriptions? Did you think it was a good show? It was. I think if we're being honest, it's a 2-match show, but I felt like a fun 2-match show.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I didn't have a bad time watching it. It's hard to put my mind into the mindset of someone who's not as into wrestling as we are,
right? Because
obviously I have the network. I'm paying for it regardless. So it's hard to put my mind into someone who's on the fence about it, where it's like, I could see some more. Like for me, it's just the price logic.
Sure.
$50 for one pay-per-view or $50 for 5 months of pay-per-views plus NXT plus whatever I want to watch on the network. So for me, that's the hardest part,
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are going to criticize this and say there was nothing of substance on the undercard, and that's absolutely true. I don't think you could argue that. But I think that's because, it's just because so much of the focus and so much of the story is wrapped up in the main event because you got so many guys there.
Yeah.
Not that that's an excuse.
Well, like for me, like they're saying Sting is a reason for you to buy into the network. That was one moment on a pay-per-view, 5 minutes tops. Like, is that really going to justify you shelling out the money for it?
I don't
say yes.
I don't think that's what they're not saying. Sting is why you should buy the network. They're saying you should buy the network because you don't know what's like things like Sting can happen. It's like
Right.
you don't know
Predictable.
what's going to happen.
That's true.
Now, whether you buy into that or not, that's a different story. But they're not selling you Sting. They're selling you the possibility of anything happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh no! Next pay-per-view, Undertaker's going to show up to confront Sting.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen.
You never know what's going to happen
You never
on the
know.
WWE Network, man.
That's probably not going to happen. Okay, I'll change it to probably not. So Team Cena.
I don't
ends
know.
up
I'm
getting
back
the
to being able to see that happening. I can see them doing trips at the Rumble, and then I can see him doing Taker at Mania. I think it's completely possible. I'm not saying it's likely
It's not the one more match. It's two more matches.
I mean, of
Well,
course,
if you're going to do the big cash cow of Taker if Taker's on board and you're going to do the big cash cow of Sting versus Taker, you got to give Sting a match before Taker to legitimize him. Not that he needs it, but I mean, he's got to come in and go over somebody. He goes over Triple H to the Rumble, and then they do them. I'm not
who
saying
goes over at Taker Sting if that's the case.
I mean, I think that's I wouldn't do it. I'm saying I can totally see it happening now.
Yeah.
Oh no, they brought The Rock back in. It's going to be Sting versus The Rock.
Undertaker's new streak of losing at WrestleMania.
And I could just as easily see them playing out the Sting Triple H stuff and doing Sting Triple H at Mania too.
That's what I would say would be the safer bet.
It's no question it's a safer bet. I'm just saying, like, I could totally see them doing it now.
We shall see. So that's how we close out Survivor Series, taking us into Raw. Such hope and promise for this Raw, and I feel like it really kind of fell flat. The addition of Daniel Bryan was awesome, but you have to think of it as from a logical standpoint. 30 minutes into this Raw before we have our first match, can't have that happen under any circumstance. I know it's great that Daniel Bryan was there. I was excited to see him. But when he was in the ring delivering his promo, I'm like, okay, they need to hurry this up a little bit.
Well, to being fair and objective, half of that time was exclusively the Authority, like in the ring.
That's true too. We kick things off as we normally do with the Authority coming out and cutting a promo, saying, "Oh, you'll miss us and you'll be begging to have us back."
Which I think makes sense for their characters to be the people who would come back and be like, "Yeah, well, you're totally gonna miss us when we're gone."
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I think that is not a problem to have it.
This place won't last 2 or 3 weeks without us.
Sure. It was great to see Brian. I
Yeah.
felt like they confused the fans. I thought the fans thought he was back for good and not just. It was great to see Brian, but his segment was pretty lame. Like all the stuff that he just the counting down through like the guys. It was it's pretty hokey shit. And I'm the biggest
My bearded brethren.
I'm the biggest fucking Mark-ass fanboy for Daniel Bryan on the planet. But like, if I'm gonna call other motherfuckers hokey, I'm gonna have to call him out. Like, it's less bad with Brian because it's sort of like the person he genuinely is, sort of like that lighthearted guy, and you know that because you can see that in him, you know. But it doesn't change the fact that it was just sort of a hokey segment that went on too long.
Yeah.
And I think the fans thought he was back for good, or at least like the permanent manager until he was healed up or something, you know.
Right.
And I felt like they confused some people.
Yeah, they didn't offer a whole lot of clarification as to why he was there, how he got the position. Like, did Vince McMahon call him and say, Daniel, we need you here. We need you to run the show tonight?
It makes sense that he would be there to gloat because they gave him such a hard time.
Yeah.
Just
Like, if he were there just to yes them out the door,
right.
I'm totally fine with that.
Sure.
If he was like, I was sitting at home watching Survivor Series, I saw what happened, I had to be here to say farewell to you guys.
And a lot of times we give like Cena a hard time for being hokey, and like I'm sort of giving Brian a hard time right now for being hokey. But if you're gonna be if you're gonna do the sort of like lame humor babyface hokiness, this is sort of the spot you do it because it's sort of the spot for the babyface to sort of like get his ribs in on the heels, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense. It just went on too far and it was a little too much.
Yeah. You go to commercial and come back and you're in another promo, and it's it was just too long. They could have done that on the second screen and then said, "Oh, folks, you know, if you don't have the app, here's what you missed. You know, Daniel Bryan made these matches. He's special guest, you know, guest manager or whatever. So
Yeah, and I honestly believe some people were confused because I myself am a seasoned wrestling watcher, and I was confused. I thought he was like permanently back until the segment was over. I don't know what finally tipped me off, and I was like, oh, he's just doing this.
yeah,
thing.
I think it was whenever he was like, and they put me in charge tonight. You know, I was like, oh,
Damn it.
all right. So
Fucking bullshit.
and again, it goes back to what we were talking about, the whole Roman Reigns interview. We haven't gotten we haven't gotten an update for Daniel Bryan in a long time. So it's like,
See,
you know.
another thing is he must be really going to be out for like a lot longer because I feel like if he even has a chance of being back at the Rumble, which I don't think he does now.
Yeah.
You don't do this. You just like let the people like not think about him until he comes back and gets that
Out of
monster,
sight, out of mind.
that John Cena coming back at like the 30 spot. You know when he came back at the 30 spot that one Rumble and people lost their fucking
Madison
minds?
Square Garden, crowd going nuts.
Yeah.
And that's people who purport to hate him, but that's another thing. But I'm just saying, like you try to get that kind of pop out of
Especially
Bryan.
since he came back after surgery early. You know,
right.
everyone's like, he's not going to be there. What the fuck is going
Right.
on?
People lost their goddamn minds when
Yes.
Cena came back.
Yeah.
At 30. People that hate John Cena lost their goddamn minds.
And then later in the match, then they booed.
Once
but
they realized they were cheering for the guy they were supposed to be hating,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh, fuck this guy."
oh, he's just going to win it.
But like,
Boo.
if Bryan has any chance of being back soon, you want that kind of pop for him. So you
Right.
don't put him on TV for this bullshit throwaway thing. You know what I mean? So he's probably, man, shit. I guess he's gonna be out until at least Mania or something. Huh?
I think that's what they're talking about. Like
After Mania?
he's saying, I pray that I have a WrestleMania match. So, I mean, he's going to be gone almost an entire year.
Right.
So,
Look, I mean, I'm not. That's his body, so he needs to do what he needs to do to take care of his body.
yeah.
I'm just sort of bummed that he's not around. It's like selfishly bummed to not see him. But
Yeah.
I mean, fuck it, do what you got to do. Like I don't believe that like people need to be. I don't even believe John Cena needs to be doing the John Cena recovery. Like I feel like the guy should like take their time. and
Take it
recover.
easy.
Yeah.
Make sure you're back to 100% before you come back.
Yeah. Not like 50%.
Yeah.
75.
You don't want to come back too early and then injure something else.
Like he did before.
Yeah. So,
So yeah,
bad stuff. So, hopefully we'll get to see Daniel Bryan again someday soon. But that takes us into the first matchup. Mark Henry versus Ryback. A revenge match, I guess, from WrestleMania from, what was it, 29, I believe. Really
Big
short
name.
matchup. Ryback makes short work of Mark Henry.
Really?
Yep.
Was it bad?
I mean, you know, Mark Henry was making his way towards the ring. Ryback charged him from behind. They battled. Ryback threw Mark Henry into the barricade and then was like slamming his head into the barricade, you know?
yeah.
And then they went to commercial, come back from commercial, and Mark Henry's kind of like in the ring, but he's like dazed and wobbly, you know? And so the ref is like, "Are you sure you want me to start the match?" And so he's like, "Yeah, start it." And, you know, he calls for the bell, and I mean, it was probably like a 2-minute match. It was just really short. Ryback ends up getting the victory. Big whoop. So that takes us into the next matchup. Luke Harper going up against Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship, as per the general manager being Daniel Bryan. This was a fairly solid matchup. These two had pretty good chemistry. It ended up being a disqualification after Luke Harper pushed Dean Ambrose into the ref, and the ref said, "Oh, you did that on purpose. Call for the bell." And Dean Ambrose is like,
Motherfucker.
yeah, pretty much. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" You know. So he decides, screw this. I'm, you know, just going to attack Luke Harper. Goes to get a chair, throws it in the ring, and then he is attacked by Bray Wyatt, who gives him the Sister Abigail, and then throws him onto the table, the commentator's table, and he falls to the ground. Bray Wyatt starts throwing chairs all over him and buries him in chairs as an act of revenge for what happened on Survivor Series. So, Doug, what did you think about this matchup? Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper.
Oh, I thought it was pretty good. I know there was something in particular I wanted to point out, but now I'm drawing a blank.
The disqualification?
No, not that.
Oh.
I don't know. I was sort of lost what I had to say about it.
Oh. All right. Well, after that, we got to see Santino Marella and Larry the Cable Guy come out and cut a lovely promo about I don't know what wrestling. Larry the Cable Guy wasn't wearing a shirt, and not even Santino could save this segment.
This is good. Okay. Whew. All right. Deep breaths.
You can do this, Doug. I believe in you.
I'm just going to say it, man.
All right. Bitch.
And it gives me no pleasure to say this. I derive no pleasure in saying this. Maybe some embarrassment. But if I'm being completely honest, this Larry the Cable Guy segment was far less painful than I had imagined it to be.
Really?
And if I'm being super honest, it's been less painful than other guest hosts that I've seen, for sure. He just did 2 minutes of comedy, and it was wrestling-based comedy. He did wrestling jokes, which I could appreciate. He didn't do, like, my redneck. I mean, he did his catchphrases, which are lame, but he didn't do, like, my signature blue or comedy, whatever his like signature redneck comedy stuff. He did wrestling jokes, and they weren't funny, but they were ultimately painless. And I would be lying if I said this was infinitely less like awful as I assumed it was going to be.
It wasn't Kathy Lee and whatever that chick's name was.
It was not good, but
it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't that bad. And like I feel like I have to make a point to say this because I shed on this hard when I heard it. I was like, fuck you, this is crossing the line. I don't like Grumpy Cat is one stupid thing, but this is one stupid thing too far. And I was really like, I made a big deal about it being on the show, and ultimately it was pretty painless. And if we're being completely honest, he was not as bad as other guest hosts. And at least he did wrestling-based humor.
Yeah.
So,
he kept it about the product.
Sure, it was bad, but I mean, like, it didn't hurt anybody.
So the reason why he's on there because he's doing a movie with WWE Studios.
Yeah, and Santino.
Santino's in the movie too?
Yeah, Jingle All the Way 2. The sequel to that Arnold Schwarzenegger.
It's the last fucking time I ever put Larry the Cable Guy over, goddammit.
So yeah, that leads.
Don't hold your breath, Cable Guy.
That leads into the next match, championship match for the tag titles. Miz and Mizdow going up against Goldust and Stardust. Doug, what do you think about this matchup?
I mean, this is like a condensed version of what I had to say about the pay-per-view match. It was like,
same spots, and
I mean, it's Stardust and it's Mizdow, who I'm like both are sort of like working on my like gag reflex right now. So I don't know, man. It's not for me.
Yeah.
They did the whole like toy belt spot that we were talking about for weeks, and I mean, I know where it's going. Like ultimately, we're gonna get Miz versus Sandow out of it, but
probably Rumble. That would be my guess.
Sure, it's still just too much. Like it's too it detracts from the matches too much. He's doing too much of the. It lost its meaning. A stunt double is not a.
Now they're talking that he was cursed by a voodoo something. He was cursed by a Papa Shango.
Well, that was a joke. It was a bad joke, but it was a joke.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not for me, man. It's not. I know the crowd's like eating it up, so they kind of have to go with it no matter what. Or they'd be crazy not to, even though it's not for me. Although they don't go with. I don't know why they pick and choose what they get. When the crowd latches onto something, I wonder the thought process of the crowd latches onto this. We don't go with it, but the crowd latches onto this. We decide to go with it. I'd love to see the thought process there.
The crowd is solidly behind Cesaro, hoping to turn him a face. We should make him heel. Mizdow.
More than that. Cesaro. The crowd is solidly behind Cesaro, who is a fucking fantastic wrestler, who is probably the second best wrestler on our roster, who has good matches with everybody, who has tremendous upside. Vince doesn't get that guy. He just doesn't get it. So, like, Fuck
Better
that
have
guy.
him,
Sure.
sell, to everyone.
Allegedly, I don't know fucking Vince, and I don't know if Vince is the guy who is the naysayer of Cesaro, but supposedly Vince is hot and cold on Cesaro because sometimes they're able to convince him to go with him, and then he realizes that he doesn't quote unquote get him. So I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. Like,
Damn.
I don't know how I don't know how they latch on to some things and not others.
I have no idea. I don't get it. But Miz and Mizdow end up getting the victory. Miz was selling an injury for the longest time and then tagged himself in and got the quick victory and made it just seem like he was the star and whatever. So
I thought they should have done it. See, I thought they sort of fucked it up. I thought of course, I don't like this. That's the story they're telling. But if I was telling that story, I would have had that Sandow did the ass kicking while Miz was selling, and Miz turns himself and just gets the pin. Like, Miz doesn't tag himself in to do the ass kicking to get the pin. He only gets the pin, right?
You're right.
Like, that's how I would have done it. And before we move on from Cesaro too far, I was just like, a lot of people for a long time were saying, like, oh, they're fucking burying Cesaro. They're fucking, that poor bastard. They're fucking killing that man. For a long time, I defended them. I was like, no, it's just not his time yet. No, they just can't. Like, there's just not spots for everybody. No, they're high on the guy. He's gonna get his time. But now I gotta fucking concede with the rest of these people. Be like, no, they're just fucking burying the guy.
Yep.
Like, they're just not gonna fucking use
Doesn't matter who he's going up against. He's his shoulders getting pinned.
Yeah.
Or he's gonna tap out. Or
sure. And he's only the best. One of the best fucking things you have.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah.
Pound for pound, the strongest guy on your roster. Just, it's ridiculous, but
I mean, fuck all that. He just has good matches with everybody.
yep.
What more do you want?
Hopefully they turn around and give him something.
Yep. But after that, we got some concession stand segments with Kane, concessions Kane, if you will. Really cheesy stuff. Especially with the lady who was supposed to be the manager. If there's one chip that's missing, that's coming out of your paycheck. So it's like,
How do you know if there's a chip?
yeah, who the hell are you? Anyways,
I count chips.
there were a few of these segments throughout the night. One involving Santino and Larry the Cable Guy, where he poured mustard on Santino, and Larry thought it was pretty funny. The other one with Ryback, who poured ketchup and mustard on Kane and grabbed some peanuts and saying, hey, you forgot your nuts.
Each as lame as the next.
Yes. And I saw a comment saying that this is the second time in about 4 or 5 weeks where we've seen Kane have condiments thrown on him, throwing back to when...
They're on this mustard-based humor kick. What in the fuck is it with who the fuck finds mustard so funny?
I don't know. There's one of the writers like, hey, man, we're going back to the mustard.
Look, I know we just did it not too long ago, but they'll forget, and we can do it all over again.
Guys, don't forget mustard. We gotta
Mustard
get work.
fucking
Should we have Dean
hilarious.
Ambrose? No, they'll actually remember that. Put it in Ryback. He'll do it. Because he's hungry, and he wants you to feed him more, so have him go get some food
One
from
of
Kane.
the writers is like, hey, man, I swear, mustard ketchup, that shit is hilarious.
Mustard always kills.
Mustard equals money.
That's an episode title, if we did that sort of thing.
Mustard equals money. We'll do that for this week. I'll have to remember that. I'll type that down.
right.
So, I'll do it right now so I don't forget. Episode 202. Mustard equals money. So there you go. So the Kane concession stand is pretty stupid stuff, but what can you do? After that, we got to see Rusev and Lana come out because Daniel Bryan put in a stipulation. You can either have a Rumble with every person on the roster for your title, or you can come out and say the Pledge of Allegiance with a big American flag in the background.
I really was hoping Rusev was like, fuck y'all, I'll take the match, and he just kills everybody.
Yeah. What better way to build someone up, right? Sure. But WWE logic, let's not do that.
No, I mean, realistically, he couldn't.
Right.
But it would be awesome if he's like, I'll take the match, and he gets himself DQ'd every time on purpose.
Yeah. So, yeah. So Rusev and Lana come out. And Daniel Bryan appears on the Jumbotron saying, hey, I've got someone to come out there and supervise with you. And out comes Sergeant Slaughter. So he grabs the microphone and giant American flag comes down. And he starts saying, "All right, I pledge allegiance," and Rusev says nothing, Lana says nothing, and Sergeant Slaughter says, "I said I pledge allegiance," and Lana's like, I pledge allegiance. Rusev says nothing, so they continue it, and Rusev finally gets mad and threatens to attack Sergeant Slaughter, bringing out Jack Swagger to make the save. Because
at least he fucking ran to the ring. God damn.
Yeah.
It's a little detail, but so many guys don't do that kind of stuff.
It's like, I gotta save this guy, but cue my music up first. So
at least he ran. He ran to the ring. That's important.
Yeah. So Rusev gets off scot-free. He didn't have to have the match. He didn't have to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. So that's that WWE logic.
He had to deal with Jack Swagger.
He had to deal with Jack Swagger and Sergeant Slaughter. So
who he already killed many times.
Yes. So, that taught Rusev a lesson. That's for sure.
I like the idea of Swagger being like, this guy's kicking my ass many times, but I'm going to make the save anyway.
I'm going to fight for America.
Sure. But it is sort of weird that he just gets off and like his punishment was to fight the guy he repeatedly kicks his ass.
Yep.
I don't know.
But they didn't even have a match. So next up, we got to see Fandango going up against Justin Gabriel. This sounds familiar. He pairs himself up with Rosa Mendez and ditches the music that got him over with the crowd. Ends up getting the victory over Justin Gabriel. I swear we've already talked about this. The crowd was absolutely bored out of their mind. They didn't care about this match at all. CM Punk chants, JBL chants.
Your mom chants.
Your mom chants.
I like the change. I think it's
a chant for your mom.
I think it's a good change. I think it's a smart change.
Mom.
I think the goofy music only has so much legs. I like the new look. I think it plays into a darker heel character.
Ding, 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 ding.
I like the new gear. I like the music is fine. Fucking top rope leg drop is probably gonna break his fucking
tailbone.
Yeah, he's not
parts
gonna
of his spine.
He's not gonna be able to walk when he's 38.
Yeah.
Well,
he should get some advice from Hulk Hogan about dropping the leg.
Well, Hogan dropped it from his fucking feet.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to walk when he's 40. But I mean.
I chuckled at the comment that Jerry Lawler made when Fandango was holding Rosa, and they like zoom in on Fandango's face, and all you see is like Lana's leg, or not Lana, Rosa's leg, just in the air, and Jerry the King Lawler's just sitting there going, "This is provocative." Yes, it is. So that brings us into the next segment. Big Show coming out to discuss what had happened. He offers an apology, saying, "Look, we've all made mistakes. I saw the situation was in. I made the wrong decision. I think, would you fans be willing to forgive me?" They all chant, "No, you sold out."
Well, he was more like, "You guys owe me this forgiveness."
No, well, that was after.
Okay.
Because, they started booing. He was like, "Well, I hate to be that guy,
right.
but I've kind of been wrestling for a long time."
You're right. I just thought, I didn't know you were going to say that.
I think I'm owed a mulligan here. And the fans continue chanting, "No, you sold out." And he's like, "All right, you know what? Screw you. Who are you able to judge me for what I do? I'm looking out for myself and my family, and y'all can just piss off." He doesn't exactly say that, but it's close enough. And so he says, "I've been hearing the people in the back calling me a traitor, calling me, all this. They're all nothing but cowards because they can't say it to my face. So if any of them have something to say to my face, they can come out here and say it right now." And that brings out Eric Rowan. So I get to hear that really cool music again.
Were you surprised? Because for whatever reason, I thought they were going to transition into a Big Show, a John Cena feud.
Yeah. Yes. Once again, team captain not caring what happens.
Well,
no, he didn't care.
Well, he
could have come out there. He's the guy who's all about, if you got something to say it to my face.
Well, what I'm saying is that he got what he's not on his team anymore.
Yeah.
And he got what he needed. So why would he come out to the Big Show?
Just to say, hey, you put us all in jeopardy. You put your career and the career of three other guys, not including myself, in jeopardy.
But are you more interested in a possible elevation of Eric Rowan?
Yes.
So I think it lessens the impact of Eric Rowan being a guy who's going to stand up if seen as the guy who does it instead.
Right. But still, team captain.
Well, I think you had a legitimate gripe for his lack of leadership leading up to Survivor Series.
Yes.
But I feel like all bets are off once the match happens.
It's all over. They can move on now. So, but yeah, I was really glad to see Eric Rowan. For whatever reason, I thought he was going to grab the microphone. He said, "I don't like bullies," and attacked Big Show. But I was kind of hoping he would just say one word, traitor, and then attack him.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, if you're going to say it to my face. Well, here I am. I'm going to say it right to your face, traitor. And then, then go into it. I felt like that would have been a lot more powerful.
He's definitely not a talker.
No. But,
all the more reason to go with the one word promo like you suggested.
Yes. Less is more in this case. I did like that Big Show. I didn't like that Big Show was kind of taunting him. Like, oh, you're going to come down here and say something. Sure. I didn't say that. I did like the part where it was like, listen, if you step in this ring, you're probably going to get hurt. You know?
I feel like he's the only guy who can get away with that, though.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody else, like, should be cowering, but, like, Show is like literally a giant. So
yeah.
I guess he can get
I have a condition. I am literally a giant.
I like how I played the metal condition card.
I have a condition.
I have a medical condition.
I am a giant. I can't help that. So, but yeah, I mean, it was all right. So after that, we got to see Bree taking on AJ. Really interesting stuff. AJ, before the matchup, decided to talk a little trash. And then Bree ends up getting the victory. And that caused AJ to talk some more trash.
CM Punk trash?
Kind of. She was talking about, oh, the two of you don't have half the talent that I have.
Have the talent.
Well, that was Bree was doing that, or half the woman that I am, or something like that. And then AJ was like, talent is not sexually transmitted, because she was talking about how they essentially slept their way to the top, whatever. But I saw a comment that said, I find it very interesting that the woman who has lost to both Bree and Nikki in a 24-hour span is trash talking. I just find that very interesting. But what were your thoughts on this whole AJ Bella stuff?
Me?
Yes.
I mean, Bree defeated CM Punk. There's not much more to say.
CM Punk?
I didn't stutter.
Okay. All right. So yeah, after that we got to see a interspecies, intergender tag match with Adam Rose and Bunny going up against Tyson Kidd and Natalya. And I do want to add something that happened in Survivor Series during the Divas Survivor Series match, or I should say after the match, when all four Divas on the winning team got up on the corners to celebrate and wave to the fans, and Tyson Kidd hops up on Natalya's and hops in front of her, waving the hands in the air. Yes, we won. I won. We're the best. I'm liking his character and what he's doing. I thought you were going to say something. But this ends up being Tyson Kidd basically versus Adam Rose and Bunny. He tagged in Natalya briefly, but then quickly tagged her back out. Tyson and Natalya end up getting the victory. Adam Rose is unhappy. So, anything to really add from it?
Not really.
Not really. So after that, we got to see a promo segment, similar to what we've had the past few weeks. We get to see the New Day with Big E. And what? What's funny?
But they're all together this time.
Yes, Big E, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston
promo
all
together?
All together, all three of them.
All right.
Big E was talking about I was strong, and Xavier Woods is like, I was smart, and Kofi was like, I could fly, but now that we're together, I'm stronger, I'm smarter, I can fly higher, and so a new day is upon us, and apparently it debuts next week. So, what?
Big E was all like, I'm strong, or I was strong, and then what's his name?
Xavier.
Xavier was all like, I was smart. And Kofi was all like, I used to have a shitty Muay Thai stance.
That's not what he said.
No, but it was, I was like, oh, they're playing them in reverse order this week because Big E's was first or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, no, they're all together. I don't know. I'm still curious
As to what their character is going to actually be.
Yeah, I'm going to go, well, I think we have an idea, but I think, I'm not sure how it's going to apply to wrestling.
New day.
But I don't know. I guess curious is the word I'm going to go with as to how it's going to play out next week.
Mm-hmm. So that takes us into the main event. John Cena teaming up with Dolph Ziggler, going up against Seth Rollins and the tag team that the viewers voted upon. They had an option of Mark Henry and
Harper,
and then Mark Henry and Kane. Or Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble. Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble, J&J Security. And by a landslide, 93% of the votes going to J&J Security. I did like the backstage segment with J&J Security with Seth Rollins. He was like, dude, we could be Shield 2.0. We've got this. And
I like how they were like pretty confident.
Yeah, they were like, they're excited to get in there. And Rollins is just like, guys, I don't want to say that your time has passed, but, you know.
It was even when like Dolph stopped by just to talk shit or whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, I voted for you guys. Or I put it on Twitter to my.
Like, dude, he got all those, you know.
And Mercury just gives this one look. He's like, really? Like, it was like so genuine. He was like, really? You think we're. He didn't say, all he said was really, but it was a really, you think we can do this? And
yeah. Like Ziggler was like, oh, I asked my 1.4 million followers to vote for you guys. And they're like, thanks. Yeah. Yes. All right. We got this. You know, and Seth Rollins is just like, oh my God. I
mean,
hate you guys.
the real joke is that Noble and Mercury are actually fantastic wrestlers.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. They played it well.
Yeah.
I sort of like them in the like Stooge 2.0 role.
Yes. They do it really well because, you know,
I wonder who set that up. I wonder if Rollins asked for them or they're like, you're going to be with Rollins.
Or I don't think that they were ever intended to be, you know, on-air characters. I think because they had the pull apart with like Finley and, you know, all them, and the fans actually noticed and were chanting JB Noble and Mercury and all that. So they were like, sure, why not? Let's get these guys back on the air. So it just happened to play out that way, and it's working. You know, I'm enjoying seeing them on screen.
Well, I thought maybe since they were sort of like indie darlings at one point in their career, like the indie darling guy asked for them to be like his little posse or whatever. So
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Maybe, you never know. But I don't know. What did you think about this matchup? I felt it was odd. You know, yes, it's a 3-on-2 handicap match technically, but I felt it very odd that, like, you know, at any point in the match, J&J Security had the upper hand on Cena or Ziggler. Like, you know, I tuned out for a little bit, and I happened to glance up, and like Cena was like crawling to the ring to the corner to tag in Ziggler, and I'm like, really?
I mean, maybe. I mean, I might have flipped to some like Ferguson like coverage at this point, but I remember the match mostly being like comedic bumping from the Stooge guys.
Yeah, they did have some of that where they, you know, they were both in the corner hitting on Ziggler and Cena, and they tried to do the, you know, throw into one another, but it got reversed, and Mercury and Noble got thrown into each other. But there were a couple spots where I glanced up and I was like, he's selling.
Well, I mean, for the match to sort of work, they have to transition from comedic Stooge stuff to the team with the numbers of fantastic at the upper hand for the match to work. So whether you buy it or not, I think it sort of has to happen that way.
Yeah. But, you know, regardless of what happened, Cena and Ziggler do end up getting the victory. You know, they didn't get the pin on Rollins, which is good, because he ended up getting his later as Daniel Bryan comes out.
Cena got the W, right?
I believe so. Or no, it was a double pin.
Okay, it was a double pin.
Yeah. You know, they both had Mercury and Noble pinned at the same time, so the ref counted 3.
Okay, I was thinking Cena exclusively because they played Cena's music, which does make sense.
Yeah.
But it sort of felt like tonight was a night to give Ziggler a little bit of room to run and like see if it was gonna make a difference.
Nope. Weren't gonna do that. So
Never.
You know. But Daniel Bryan came in.
And I'm a guy who's not necessarily sold on Ziggler being a top guy.
Yeah, but this was their chance to do something, and they dropped the ball on it. But so Daniel Bryan throws Rollins back into the ring and is delivered a super kick and an AA for the trouble, leading Daniel Bryan to chant "yes" in the middle of the ring with Ziggler and Cena, and then we hear the famous dee-dee-ding sound of the anonymous General Raw manager. What I found absolutely idiotic was that they pan the camera over to the podium, and Jerry Lawler turns and looks and is like, "Where did this come from?" Like, I'm sorry, suspension of disbelief. You cannot.
Right.
No, it can't happen. You can't. It doesn't magically appear. It was set there,
It does.
obviously, long before they brought it to anyone's attention. You cannot tell me that you're sitting there at the commentary table and you did not, out of your peripherals or just happenstance of glancing away, happen to see that. You can't do it. I'm sorry.
But Daniel,
It's possible.
I know.
But Daniel,
No.
It works. Yeah.
No.
he was enthralled in the main event.
No.
Yes.
He was sucked in.
No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It can't happen.
You're crazy.
You're crazy.
Maybe I am.
You're just wrong.
I am. Going
Sometimes
nuts.
you got to just tell your friend when he's wrong, and you're just wrong. Sorry.
You're wrong.
So, anyways, Michael Cole reads an email saying order is going to be restored next week, and we hear. Did
Did you think that was a fuck up because he was like, I can't stop it? Like Cole, like
He did say that. He was like, "There's nothing I can do."
But was that like do you think it was intended or you think it was a fuck up?
I think it was intentional,
Okay,
but
that's a weird choice.
it was stupid. It sucked the energy right out of the room for me. I was like, they had this chance to make this Raw, pretty good, and I felt like this completely just pulled that away.
After that, they're gonna be like they stuffed through John Laurinaitis.
People power.
Do you think Big Johnny's coming back?
Why
Ted
not?
Long,
Now hold up a minute, playa.
Vicky Guerrero,
You're not excused. She's not
Mick
coming back.
Foley.
Have a nice day. People power.
Brad Maddox got fired.
I feel that the fans, the WWE universe, needs more people power.
You know who else needs to come back?
Joe.
Jeff Harvey.
No. So, anyways, that was the closing to Raw. Big whoop.
Not Jeff Hardy.
Not the best.
Do y'all want to take bets?
Mike Adamle.
Any guesses?
Mike Adamle. Mike Adamle.
No, he has a job.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, the anonymous guest or the anonymous GM is going to be hosting next week. I'm guessing.
No,
Which is
they
really
said
sad.
that. Didn't they announce somebody for next week?
No,
Oh.
not to my knowledge, anyways.
Oh.
Anyways, that's how we close out Raw. Big whoop. Time to go into the hot topics. Hot topics. No, not a whole lot of hot topics going on this week. We would like to discuss more thoughts on WWE 2K15 now that we've had some time to play it. So Tyler, I'll let you take it away. Give us some of your thoughts, likes, dislikes, overall thoughts. WWE 2K15 final verdict as far as what you've played so far.
Okay. What I like about it is I like the option that you can change attires on your superstars.
Mm-hmm.
Not just create superstars, your superstars.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Me and Doug were talking about this the other day. That feels a little bit weird that it doesn't have all the grapples and stuff. Like in the last game, it would there's four sets of grapples, which each of them will lead into their own other set of four grapples too.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have that.
So is that a plus or a minus?
It's a minus, but
It's a minus. They're essentially limiting the moveset you have.
but it still doesn't take me out of it. I don't know about him, but it doesn't take me out of it.
Okay.
I have fun with the game. I enjoy the game, but the limited moveset is a sizable minus for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the biggest complaint that I have.
Uh,
A lot of what they've done that I've liked is Tyler sort of touched on this last week. They've added sort of like weight and impact to the moves to where there's like real, it feels like more natural. Like, I'm just going to repeat myself. They've added weight and impact when the moves happen. It's less of like a sort of video gamey, like where a guy just does a move to another like flimsy guy. It feels like you can feel the move.
yeah.
Another thing is like time and like they've paced the game this year to where it feels like a WWE style match.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the past games is sort of I mean, it's very video gamey. It's very like you can do whatever you want pretty much at any time. But this year there is really a sense of like sort of building a match and sort of like a very WWE pace and not a video game match where you can just go balls to the wall, whatever. There's not an emphasis, but your guy sells like in the game, and that's even just with stamina, like, and that's just recovering to do moves. Like you sort of sell when you're climbing up the ropes if you're. And not in a very robotic video game fashion. It feels very like organic.
Yeah, when they try to get up, they crawl to the ropes or whatever. But also,
even when you're on the ground, though, like if your stamina is low and you're trying to go for a pin, you will like crawl for the pin, and you can maybe just get like one arm across the guy for like a shitty pin, and like they will count it like that.
I like that.
All that adds to the feel of it. It's very less like big video game and very very much like WWE simulator, which it is a WWE simulator, so that's good. Now, I feel like there are some big omissions that people have been talking about with the less the creator created stuff. There's a lot less of that shit. There's some match types missing, and like we were just talking about now, which is my biggest minus was like moveset stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I that would be a bigger complaint for me if it was just sort of a carbon copy of last year. But it feels like they did try to revamp the game. The game plays different and it feels different. So if you're a person who's like, it's the same fucking game every year, it's not new, that's why I don't care. I feel like maybe you should give this one a shot because it definitely plays different. It definitely feels different. It's paced. It feels like a WWE match and not a video game match.
Little things I like. I don't know if Doug said he didn't like that much. I like how they pull you to the middle of the ring to do moves and stuff instead of just doing it on the side or by the ropes. I also like when they're trying to crawl or whatever, you can do a certain grapple and you kind of like not just pick them up, you do another move to them while they're like halfway on the ground, like maybe like a little small DDT or some sort of kick. And also you can
an inverted vertical suplex.
Then also when they're trying to get up, you can just like kind of kick them and they'll just like stay back down. Another thing is I like how when you grapple them from the back, they do like an automatic I forgot the move's name, but they do some sort of like maybe it's like a DDT or something. Oh, there's different moves you can do. What else? I don't like how they're limited on talking about creation stuff. They're limited on shirts and pants.
Hey, let me ask you something. What in the fuck? In the career mode, when you get those, when Vicky's like, hey, pick 3 pay-per-views you can be on, and you get like articles of clothing that you supposedly equip and they add like attribute points or whatever, where the fuck are those shirts at? Like I went back into the, so I won my pay-per-view match and I was awarded like a pay-per-view shirt. It was just a plain black shirt that had the logos of all the pay-per-views on it. And they're like, if you equip this to your guy, then you get plus whatever strength or whatever it is, some sort of bump in attributes. And I went looking for it in I pulled up the where the t-shirts are in the like the looks version of the Creator Wrestler. Can't fucking find it. I don't know where it is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It should be on there.
Where do you just went back into like the apparel part of it and just fucking pulled it off the t-shirt? Mine's not in there. That's weird.
Huh. See, I need to play more of my career. I haven't played. I'm still in NXT.
Well, see,
me too.
I started there because I was trying to unlock the NXT. You guys got the bump with everyone unlocked.
Yeah.
So I started there to unlock the NXT guys or whatever.
But it's still a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's still pretty cool. And I'm about to start showcase mode.
You're still NXT guys? When I won the NXT title, like to progress, you have to lose it or whatever eventually.
I lost it like automatically.
Well, like Vicky's like, I defended mine successfully, and Vicky's like eventually gives you like options on what you want to do, and she's like, you can defend your title, but if you go to main event to do like a dark match or something, she's like, I'll strip you of your NXT title. So I was like, oh fuck that, I didn't lose it, I don't want to lose it. So I picked the match and I got myself DQ'd on purpose. I went out of the ring, got a chair, hit the guy. They both, so I retained. So same fucking, I did it like 6 times, and she's like, you can either defend your title or I'll strip you of it.
That
So I
must be
kept
glitch.
like it
Must be
built
glitch.
my heel meter up. Like I was like all the way heel, but eventually you just have to say I'm gonna fucking lose the belt or let her strip me of it.
That's stupid.
Yeah. I find that there's a lot of moves people I like. I mean, I would find there's like games like certain wrestling games like I don't like this superstar, but it's pretty much I like pretty much everyone who I play with. Like the moves and stuff are just it's pretty cool. I still haven't played with everyone. I need to go back and see who has been scanned. Like when we played, we found out Tyson O'Neil is scanned.
Yeah, he looks really good.
Yeah, he does.
I just want to brag a little bit because I beat Tyler's fucking ass. And generally, in many of the years past, Tyler beats my ass consistently. But I put the fucking smackdown on this little bitch.
Yes, because I have not mastered the reversals down because it's a different in strikes than grapples. And excuses, right? And plus, he's got my number when I try to do grapple. Usually, we go back and forth, like we reverse, but he was kicking my ass. So
That's usual. What happened this time?
you kicked my ass.
All right. That's what I want to hear.
Wait a second, guys. Who won that triple threat match?
Oh, that's a bullshit.
Yeah, who won that match where you were frozen?
Hey, I would have won that. Damn game glitched on me.
Technically, you won that match, but how you won is me and Tyler beat the fuck out of each other, and then you hit us both with chairs from behind.
It wasn't a chair. I hit Tyler with the stunner, and I threw you out of the ring.
After
Or
introducing
vice
weapons.
versa. Yeah. I introduced the sledgehammer on the table. I'm old-fashioned heel. So,
I gotta step my game up because if not, Doug's gonna beat my ass every time.
and if you're Tyler, if you're ever playing 2K15 and you want to stream online on Twitch or whatever, I can let you know what the user and password and all that is.
I didn't get to save it, but I was playing as Luke Harper. And I was like, I'm gonna
Same
switch
for you,
as,
Doug. If y'all are ever
I'm gonna
playing.
switch as a tire up. I took his shirt off and I switched his pants. He had the Usos pants on. Luke Harper.
Well, just like a plug really quickly since you're talking about it. If for some reason you give a fuck about watching us, or watching me rather, beat Tyler's ass, and whatever this little fluke win Daniel was talking about.
What?
I believe that they were both captured on the Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/WNS podcast.
That's right.
I believe they archived the footage and you can go back and watch.
Yeah. Although the broadcast that we had, for some reason, glitched out or something like that. It said the broadcast was like 4.5 hours.
I saw that.
Yeah. Which
I finally figured I didn't know you had to like create an account to like see the footage.
Yeah.
I thought you could just go to the page or whatever.
Yeah, and from that night alone, we went from 119 subscribers to 132.
That's because I was whooping Tyler's ass.
On next time.
I'm not gonna
motherfucker.
let you live it down just because you always beat my ass.
So yeah, but if either of you guys want to,
reputation.
if either of you guys, because I've been solidly into Destiny, and plus I've been playing Little Big Planet 3.
Yeah, we had fun with that, man.
Yeah. So if there's ever a night where either of you guys are playing 2K15, going through Universe or going through something like that, plug in your headset.
Let us know
and,
if you
stream on Twitch.
Let us know if you get the luchador mask.
Oh, I was gonna say I don't have the little capture thing, but you don't need it for Twitch.
That is correct. It's built into the PlayStation.
I don't know if you have this. I know me and him have it. Did you get that regular mic that came with the PS3?
I did, but you know what? I don't know what the fuck I did with mine.
That mic picks up pretty good.
Yeah.
It does.
Because that's the mic we use during the
Even if I'm
Twitch
sitting
stream.
next to you, even if I'm not doing that,
Yeah.
it can still pick up. It can I don't know if I was talking to you,
You
or
could probably
Noah.
pick one up for like $20.
Well, you can
Maybe.
use really any headset, which is really cool.
Well, that thing picks up. Like I was talking to someone, and I was pretty good distance away from my TV, but they was like, "Dude, what do you listen to? I can hear it." I'm like, "Wow, you can hear that?"
Mm-hmm. If we have another game night like we did on Saturday, and you guys bring over your controllers, bring a headset as well. So that way, if we're streaming online,
Oh, okay.
it'll pick up on all three of our voices.
I gotta
instead
buy a
of just
new one. I
one.
don't know what to do with it.
Well, yeah, if you find one, if we do it. But like I said, if you guys are ever playing 2K15 and want to do the stream, do it by all means. Make sure you let the people know that that it's you and not me, because otherwise people will be like, "Hey, what's up, Daniel?" And the good stuff.
I want to give
But
a
I'll be
shout
all
out.
like, "Shut the fuck up."
Jelko,
I want to give out a shout out to Jelko. He believed in me. So
Not a listener though.
Did he say he wasn't a listener?
Red Robin was the only person. Well, the one
There was
person.
one other person.
I have a
he's been
feeling that
listening
Red
for-
Robin hates me, by the way.
No, one dude said he's been listening for like a few months or a year or so. And I was
Yeah.
like, awesome.
Good stuff.
Jellicoe
I love
is
you,
not a
Red
fucking
Robin.
listener in the.
He
I
hates
know.
you. He hates you because you lost.
Joko hates me.
You let him down.
I
Loser.
feel like I let Red Robin down.
You did. You let everyone down.
That's why he hates
How's
me.
it feel? How's it feel to let everyone you know down?
Well, I lost to Doug.
You did. You even let Doug down because he was expecting you to win. Right, Doug?
Yeah.
So there you go. So pick up 2K15 if you haven't already. Pretty fun stuff.
Oh, by the way,
The one thing I don't like is how much they took out of the game. Like they created an entrance and moves.
little
and
parts
all
have.
that.
It's still not enough to take me out of it, to be honest with you.
It just bugs the heck
Not-
out of me. 'Cause
not
that's one of
to-
the few things that I do like.
Not to repeat myself, but I would be harder on that if I felt like it was just a carbon copy game, but I do feel like the gameplay is different. I think it feels different. And I think they revamped some shit. And so I think it's easier for me to forgive than if they had just like made additions to last year's game. It feels like a different game. Not entirely, but you know what I mean? Like they definitely tweaked like a significant amount of shit.
I just hope for 2016 they bring
They're
back.
most likely.
Yeah,
gonna
I hope they bring
all that
back the
stuff. They got all
customization and
this,
stuff.
feedback.
Well, I feel
Yeah.
like if they're trying to revamp and they get the base of the revamp done, then they're gonna add like
Yeah.
stack on
And
the
then they'll
features.
scan everyone that needs to be scanned by then.
Everybody.
Well, they have time.
It's not a perfect game, but
Right.
it is a fun game.
Yeah. Also, I played it. I spent some time playing it on the Vita. I don't like it
Yeah.
on the Vita. It's just because I don't like playing with the. I don't know if you've ever had a Vita, but they have a touch screen on the back, and
sensitive.
it's 4 things. Like you can do top 2 corners, top, bottom, and like R2 and L2 is the back you to press that, and that's the reverse. And I don't like doing that.
Yeah.
It just feels weird. I've always been saying like, oh man, I need to play this on the handheld because I need to, go and play it. I'm like, I find it more entertaining to play it on the main system than I do on the handheld.
Right. So there you go.
Oh, one actual bit of hot topic news before we move on to Q&A. Just something I want to mention. It was, I guess they released a little promo video, and in the video they are teasing like new season of shows, but New Japan Pro Wrestling is getting a in January. I believe it starts Friday. It's going to be on Fridays. I believe it's January 15th or 16th, whatever that Friday is. On Access TV, they're going to be a New Japan Pro Wrestling show with American announcing. It is going to be a best of show. Not a best of. It's going to be like a sort of a comp show where they're going to be like, here are good matches here. Here's a good match from there. It's not going to be the current product, but this can only be good things if they do well, because that's the step to getting a current product for us to watch.
Yeah.
Is if this show does well. And even Josh Barnett, he's an MMA dude. He also a pro wrestler. He actually wrestled for New Japan. He was going to be one of the guys doing the announcing, but it's on Access TV. I don't know the channel. I know it is a tiered thing. It's the rebranded HDNet. It's what HDNet used to be. They've rebranded themselves as Access TV. So
Check
whatever
your local cable,
whatever
survivor-
package like
provider.
you have to get that is the same thing. But that's really fucking cool because all these people. I mean, we focus on WWE here, but I watch everything that I can. And I know just from doing this show, a lot of people tell me how burnt out they are, how sort of sick of WWE they are. There's a lot of fucking options out there, guys, and some interesting options. But you got AAA doing Lucha Underground. You've got New Japan trying to break into the market. They've got a traditional pay-per-view through Global Force Wrestling. January, they've got it's just there's cool options out there if you're looking for other stuff. So check it out.
Good stuff. Did you guys see the video promo for Kevin Steen or Kevin Owen?
I have not.
Yeah, I did.
It's looking like he might be pretty good.
It's very Steen. It's like it's very stained with his new name. I mean, it looks exactly like a promo they would have done for him any other time.
Yeah.
Which I guess is sort of reassuring.
Mm-hmm. To let him keep true to himself a little bit. So there you go. Time to go into the Q&A portion of the show. Your questions, our answers. First question coming to us from Thomas. Drop it low, son.
Drop it low, son. Drop it low, son.
Saying, hey, folks, back again after having a week off to sort my life out. First of all, super congratulations to Daniel for popping the question to his lovely fiance, Kelsey. Thank you very much. Major props to you both. Now moving on to my question. With the end of the authority at Survivor Series, we all will seemingly going to be having former GMs return. And with the return of the anonymous general manager next week, may God have mercy on our souls. But I've been wondering, who do you think is the best overall authority figure in wrestling and why? Good to be back, guys. And once again, congrats to Danny and Kelsey.
I mean, I think it's
you.
Vince, and I don't think it's close.
Yeah, I'd have to go with that as well. And
He sort of like invented and defined the role. I mean, he didn't invent the role of the authority figure, but he sort of defined heel authority figure.
yeah, definitely.
At least for that generation and the post generations, he at least defined it for that.
Yeah.
Heel authority figure is overdone these days. We would probably all benefit from them just not having a heel authority figure or an authority figure at all on screen. That'd probably be a refreshing take, but when he did it, it was pretty fresh, and he sort of defined it. So I mean, I don't see how you could go with anyone but Vince.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
Good
And
stuff.
what do you think sorting his life out means? What do you think that means?
I don't know. Questioning his major, contemplating life in general,
Traveling abroad.
traveling abroad, becoming a celebrity. Do I want to go the route of the celebrity or do I want to go the route of the scholar? 'Cause he's been making waves.
Do I
Across the
want
pond.
to become a football player or a pro wrestler? Or a basketball player? Or do I want to swim
I think he can swim at any time.
Yeah, he can swim anytime he wants.
professionally?
I don't think he needs
Oh,
to question himself.
Yeah.
Professionally.
Provided he can swim. If not, he probably needs some floaties and stuff. But
Yeah. Hope everything gets sorted
So
out
wanna take
that
care
needs
of
to be
dogs?
sorted. Hope everything's okay.
yeah, man. Take care of yourself,
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Loson.
Yes. So,
We're as here for you as we can be
Yeah.
across the pond, brother.
we're a few thousand miles away, but we're here.
We're still here for you.
So thank you for the question, Thomas. Final question come to us from our buddy Ben Folds, saying, "Hey guys, it's been a while. How have you been?"
Breaking out, drowning slowly. Oh, because I'm headed
What the
nowhere.
hell is happening? So,
Singing Ben Folds songs.
oh, okay. We already established it wasn't Ben Folds 5. But anyways, saying, sorry I haven't been posting.
No, it's his
feedback
solo
or-
shit. It's his
Oh,
solo shit.
well, sorry about that. Sorry I haven't been posting feedback or questions. It's just been really busy. With starting my first job.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. And GCSEs. Not sure what that is, but
I'm gonna guess standardized testing.
yeah, something like the SATs or something like that coming up. But I've been listening to every episode, and they have been awesome as usual. Plus, Daniel, a big congrats on your engagement from my whole family, as I've got lots of them listening to the podcast.
Oh, man,
really
I feel-
cool stuff. I don't know about.
I feel bad about that.
Yeah, hey mom, listen to this show.
Listen to these assholes.
Yeah. But thank you for listening, and thank
Hi,
your
Ben's
family.
mom.
Yeah, hi Ben's
Hi.
mom. Oh, hi Mrs. Folds, or Mr. Folds, whichever part of the members of the family is listening. But I have
Brother
a
and
question.
sister Folds.
Yes. Cousin Folds? I don't know. So I have a question. With 2014 coming to a close, what feuds would you like to see happen this year, and how would they play out? So with the remainder of 2014, what feuds would you like to see to close out the year?
Can we do? I mean, there's less than a month, and like, I mean, realistically, you got 3 weeks because they're gonna do TLC in 3 weeks, and they're not gonna do any original programming after that, other than Tribute to the Troops, which is gonna be pre-taped.
Tribute to the
So-
Troops and their New Year's Eve show.
Can we say 2015? Because what are you
Sure.
gonna do in 3 weeks?
Absolutely.
I want a healthy Daniel Bryan feud, like doing a money feud with Brock Lesnar. God damn it, that's what
Yeah.
I want.
That would be nice.
Sound like you said Bork Lesnar.
Bork Laser. So I'd like to see Cesaro have a good breakout year in 2015. As far as feuds, I can't really think of too many.
Me either.
I hope we get to see some big stars from NXT finally hop over to the main roster. But I don't know. I can't think of any feuds that I would like to see. So I don't know. It's tough. But yeah. But thanks for the question. Sorry I didn't have too great of an answer. But make sure to submit your questions on our Facebook page, WNS Podcast, our YouTube page, WNS Video. Check us out on WrestlingNewsSource.com, WrestlingNewsSource.com on Facebook. Subscribe to our show on iTunes by searching Wrestling News Source Podcast.
We're also on the Stitcher, Beyond Pod, and Player.fm.
Yeah.
Just search Wrestling News Source. I can't talk. Source Podcast to find us.
Yeah?
I can't fucking talk.
Good stuff.
Source.
Please follow us on Twitter at WNS Podcast. Daniel's at WNS_Daniel. Tyler's at Tyler_Aber. We're on the Twitch, twitch.tv/WNS
Twitch.
Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
Twitter.
guys, there's a lot
Twitter!
there's a lot of craziness going on in the world, so take care of yourselves and
Yes.
take care of each other.
Yes, please. So there you go. Thanks for listening. For the podcast crew, I am Daniel Heron.
I'm Tyler Aber.
Doug, Teenager of the Year.
And we will catch you all next week.
Deuce.